Good evening, my fellow believers in full personhood and equality before the law. Yeah. Let's call it what it is. We have come here to make witness. We have come here to raise money. We have come here to be one people, one voice in this diverse and wonderful world. My name is Don Rollins. I am the interim lead minister at this congregation, if you can believe that. It's a fine congregation that on January 29 unanimously passed a public statement in opposition to Amendment 1. And so welcome to our house.
This is why we sing, one lift our voice, take my hand and sing with me. This is why we sing,
I want to tell you that, and something you already know, this amendment is not about marriage. It's not about marriage. Marriage is being used as a weapon against lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people in North Carolina. In 2003, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Lawrence versus Texas that it was unconstitutional for states to have sodomy or crimes against nature laws that criminalized consensual sexual intimacy between people of the same gender. And ever since that time, those who want to push the belief that same-gender sexual intimacy, same-gender loving relationships are immoral and perverse and unnatural have tried to find ways to, in some way, legalize again some kind of prohibition of recognizing the inherent dignity and integrity and legitimacy of same-gender loving relationships. And marriage has become that tool. And that's why it is going to be on the ballot in this primary in March. Not because someone wants to protect marriage. It's because they want to deny marriage to same-gender loving couples, because to do so recognizes their relationships as relationships with integrity, humanity, dignity that should be honored. And they don't want to do that. So, we are called upon. We have actually been given the responsibility by the North Carolina State Legislature to vote against this amendment. They didn't intend that. They really want us to vote for it. But we have been given that obligation to get out and work hard and vote against this amendment. Not because it will provide marriage equality, unfortunately. Not because it will, by voting against it, accomplish anything other than keeping the state of North Carolina from putting in its Constitution language that discriminates against same-gender loving people. And we must get out and vote against that. A vote against that, for us, will be a vote affirming the integrity and dignity of same-gender loving relationships. It will be a vote for the non-traditional families in our communities, whether they are of same-gender couples or different gender couples, but families that are not held together by legal marriage or traditional marriage, families with children who are dependent upon those parents. This will be a vote in support of them. It'll be for them. In many ways, we have in the past put bigotry in the Constitution in this state. In the very first Constitution, it was written that those who were eligible to vote and hold office in North Carolina must be a Protestant Christian. After the Civil War, when the new Constitution was written, the Constitution provided for education for all children in North Carolina, but there was legislation or language inserted that said, but there will be 2 separate school systems, one for white children and one for children of color. And we know where that went. That was intentional. That was bigotry written into the Constitution. Soon after, in the late 1800s, when the white supremacy movement was sort of pervasive in this state and successful, a literacy test was written into the Constitution, which required people to be able to read a certain given text when they came to vote. This was not supporting literacy in the same way that this proposition or this amendment that we're talking about is not really supporting marriage. This was not supporting literacy. It was a way of blocking African Americans from voting. What's interesting is white North Carolinians who were not able to read were grandfathered. They were able to vote because their parents had been able to vote. African American parents were not, or people who could not read were not grandfathered in. Bigotry has been a part of our tradition in this state, so that a vote against this amendment is going to be a vote against this tradition, this history of bigotry in North Carolina. North Carolina is better than this amendment. We are better than putting bigotry in the Constitution again. A vote against this amendment is a vote against the past and for the future. One of the things that I feel strongly about is that in many ways this amendment, as insidious as it is also a gift. We would not be here tonight talking about this had the legislature not put this amendment on the ballot. There would not be similar conversations happening all around the state now and throughout the spring until May if this were not on the ballot. We are having conversations about the integrity and dignity of same-gender loving couples and gay and lesbian, bisexual, and transgender individuals that we have not had before, in ways we've not had before. And so that in itself is a gift. In 2008, I think probably everyone in this room worked hard to get Barack Obama elected to the presidency. Few people gave North Carolina a chance of carrying the state for Barack Obama. Few people give us a chance now for defeating this amendment. I want to tell you, we have the same chance of defeating that amendment that we had to elect Barack Obama President of the United States and carry North Carolina with it. And we can do it because of you, because you are here tonight, and because you're willing to work. And I also want to tell you that the triangle in 2008 was a particularly important, a very strategic part of this state, that if the triangle had not carried for Obama, the state would not have. So we have a chance to work hard in our area to vote against this amendment, to defeat it, and by so doing, helping the rest of the state defeat it. A defeat of this amendment is going to be something to celebrate. I think I would love to know that we could all be back in here doing a celebration after this amendment is defeated. But one of the things, and I think this is very important, one of the things we must understand is after this amendment is defeated, what we must do is begin the process of providing for marriage equality in North Carolina. It's not enough just to defeat this amendment. It won't provide marriage equality by defeating it. We must take the next step and work to provide for marriage equality for all loving relationships, all committed relationships in the state of North Carolina. It will take a while, but now will be the time to start as soon as we defeat this amendment. Thank you for being here tonight.
From this point on, I will be nothing but true to the person inside of me. I will present myself as I really am, not the way I'm supposed to be. I've acted like such a fool, playing by all the rules. Took time to realize they don't apply to me at all. From this point on, I will say only the things that truly display my soul. In every action, I'll remind myself I'm working toward a goal. The person I'm meant to be was hidden inside of me. Now I'll answer only to myself, and I'll be strong.
They normally send me in as either comic relief or to share the harms of Amendment 1. Which are you ready for? I normally do this interactive thing, but first and foremost, I wanted to say why we wear the yellow or gold sweatshirt. Does anyone know why? These two women do, actually. It's because when we stand on the side of love with all the Unitarian Universalists, we want to look like a big race team coming at you. So that's actually why we are gold. We had the biggest rally against Amendment 1 in Charlotte in July when 3,000 Unitarian Universalists packed into a park. It was a park. It wasn't a place. And shouted out against Amendment 1. And ever since, we've been madly in love with you. So anything you have, we come to. Okay? Some nice gentleman counted exactly how many people are here tonight. It's 251. And you're officially our biggest event on Race to the Ballot. So give yourself... So I'm going to ask you, audience, how many of you are women? I love how women always hoot. That was hot. Women are impacted by Amendment 1. Does everybody know how? For unmarried women in the state of North Carolina, domestic violence protections are threatened because, our laws may no longer apply to women outside of a marriage of one man and one woman. Can I get a boo on that? Terrifying. That's the best boo I've ever had. How many people in here want to live to a ripe old age? These are rhetorical questions, but no. I don't. Seniors are more mature citizens are actually harmed by Amendment 1 because sometimes we may lose a partner in later years and may have to choose between pension and Social Security and the protections provided in a post-amendment world to the only recognized relationship in the state, which is marriage between one man and one woman. Can I get a boo? You're good. How many of you in here have ever been children? No, it gets better. Children are harmed by Amendment 1. Child custody and visitation, which is already not easy for children of non-biological or non-adoptive parents, is even more thrust into question in a post-amendment world. Boo. Don't worry, we'll get to the good part in a minute. How many people in here are a part of a family? I love unanimity in the crowd. Me! Amendment 1 threatens all unmarried families in the state of North Carolina. Can we get a boo on that? I know no one in here drinks. Thank you. That was good. But if you do go to a cocktail party, you can lay it on people that, as of the 2010 census, there are 222,000 unmarried straight couples in North Carolina. Don't boo. That's good. Thanks. And there are 22,000 LGBT couples in North Carolina. Don't boo. That means nearly 250,000 couples, and we know there are more than that, right? That means nearly 250,000 couples, not counting their children, will be impacted by Amendment 1 if it were to pass on May 8th. But it's not going to pass, right? We should just go to the polls now. It could be like a Star Wars, movie where y'all camp out for like 3 months ahead of time and scare people. So if you go to a cocktail party, that's not actually the big one. You can say, hey, straight people, love you. For every one of me, 10 of you are going to be screwed by Amendment 1. What do you think? And then you drop the wine glass and you walk out. If you're me, you don't drop the wine glass, if you know what I mean. So, it's true. It's true. So if you were me, what would you do? What kind of conversations would you have with people? Well, you'd have every single conversation you could possibly have with people before May 8th. So one last question. Who pledges to have 10 conversations with people between now and May 8th? We just did. This is the tricky part. So please join me. You don't have to run across the state. But if you could register to vote, get others registered to vote, head to the polls early, and then help us be at the polls on May 8th with very confusing T-shirts like, Republicans against the amendment. Because you know what? We already know people of faith are against the amendment. Is that right? Okay. So I don't want to hold us up too long, but I want to get a chant going because I want to make perfectly clear we know what we're doing. What are we doing on May 8th? Vote against. When are we doing it? Or earlier. What are we going to do on May 8th? When are we going to do it? Or earlier. What are we going to do on May 8th? That's right. I've never loved you more. There's wine in the back, by the way. Just kidding. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for making this the most massive non-cocktail party I've gone to on Race to the Ballot. I love you so much. Thank you so much.
And it don't mean nothing without love. Hey, stop and let me out and exit to be. I'll hitchhike down to the sawmill, 'cause something has set me free. I said something has set me free. Down by Ridge Road exit, there's a trooper with blue lights. I'm drinking bitter coffee so I can stay up all night. Jump the highway guardrail and stop to watch a train. I'm stretching out my arms so I can catch the falling rain. And it don't mean nothing without love. Stop and let me out and exit to be. I'll hitchhike down to the sawmill, 'cause something has set me free. Then they sit up there and take our rights away. The crazy crazy laws are so damn scary, and why won't they just let us marry? Yeah. All right, you hear me? We work twice as hard for half the pay. Then they sit up there and take our rights away. The crazy laws are so damn scary, and why don't they just let us marry? Yeah. All right. Ooh, don't you feel like screaming?
Hey, y'all. I'm Ryan Rowe. I'm the Director of Faith Outreach for Protect All North Carolina Families. I won't take too much of your time. I just want to come by. There are 3 other fundraisers going on tonight. And actually, I got a text before I came up here. I think I won the raffle at the last one I was at. So I got to go back and pick something up. But I won't take up your time. I want to thank you for your generosity, for your love. It's nights like this that we turn tragic expressions of our government and attacks on all of our families into an opportunity to become who we really are. I know there are people of faith here. I know there are people who are not identified as such. How many of you believe in love? There we go. How many of you believe that love is more than just telling people what they want to hear, but challenging them to live out who they are? Right? And that's what a moment like this can show us. We can dream of a North Carolina that lives up to its truest and highest values. And we have a long way to go, right? Till we're truly equal in this state. But it starts by drawing a line and saying, we will not allow an attack like this on our families. We will not rescind. That's right, you can clap for that. And so it always feeds my soul. I'm very lucky to be a faith outreach director. I get to hang out in congregations like this. I get to work with people like Tracy Hollister. Can we give her another hand? And I just want to dream with you tonight about what it would look like for people of love and faith to be the reason that we defeated this amendment. There are those out there that would claim that voting for this Amendment 1 is a religious act, that it might be an act of love, that it might be an act of goodness, and we know that's not true. We have a lot of education to do to let people know that. But what would it mean that people like the folks here in this room were actually made the difference because we donated, because we knocked on doors, because we signed up for a phone bank? And the numbers of people in here multiplied into the difference of winning this campaign and turning the tide for what we really want to be about here in North Carolina. Will you dream that with me? Yeah. Are you open to that dream? Where's Jimmy and Chris? Hey, y'all. Love you. All right. So I just want to thank you. I actually have another one to go to, but I'm also here to play Vanna White to what Tracy has to share with you. So thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. On January 29th, I was moved in this very room when, as Dawn mentioned earlier, we had 156 out of 156 people stand on the side of love and vote unanimously against the amendment for a statement of conscience. I am similarly moved tonight by the energy in this room. On January 29th, during the service, we raised $2,229. Would you like to know how much we raised tonight? Almost exactly double. That would be $4,466. So give yourself a hand for that. Now, you might have heard that we're ambitious here at UUFR. We don't stop at statements of conscience. We've got 20 phone banks going, and we have a goal of 5,000 pledge commitments to vote against the amendment. You heard Jen Jones talk earlier about having 10 conversations. We want you to have at least 10 conversations and turn the conversation into a commitment. So many of you tonight signed a pledge to vote against the amendment. And I want to let you know where we are on our goal of 5,000. We're going to be unveiling something kind of special tonight with Ryan's assistance here. Go ahead. Drum roll, please. This is a heart thermometer, and we're filling it with love. We have a goal of 5,000, and we're about 500 right now between members of UUFR and some of what you've done tonight. That's our estimate, and we need your help. So what we need your help to do, there is a call to action, and we are ready for you at those tables out there. We are ready for you. I want each of you to pick up one of these, and in it you will find 3 pieces of paper which specific things you can do. It's verbiage from the Coalition to Protect NC Families. It's talking points that we've developed here at UUFR. It's information about our phone banks. And in it also are at least 10 pledges to vote against. So all you have to do is decide, will it be 10? Will it be 20? 30, 40, 50. I'm in it for 100, y'all. And I have a friend who's competing with me. I'm going to beat her. So just decide if it's at 10, 20, 30, whatever. Go over and sign up, and they'll give you one of these. It is addressed back to UUFR. We have an army of database entry people. They will do that, and then they'll feed it over to the coalition. And that is our main goal. The secondary goal, like I said, is the phone banks. They are every Thursday night here below this sanctuary from 6:30 to 9. We actually get free dinners donated sometimes from Noodles and Company in Cameron Village. And we are identifying voters, and we're not only identifying them, we're recruiting volunteers. And so it's every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9. Then starting April 24th, we're doing every Tuesday night, and starting March 26th, we're doing every Monday night. So that's 20 total. If you need daytime hours, our partner church down the way, United Church of Christ, Community United Church of Christ, they're doing every other Tuesday from 2 to 4. So I hope you will all join me. In fact, I'd like you all to stand. If you are willing to take a stand on the side of love, if you are willing to do at least 10 conversations and get people to pledge, and we're not talking about any people, we're talking about gay-friendly people, we're talking about equality-minded people, would you please stand if you are willing to do this? I want to see the commitment and the action. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, we'll be waiting for you out there at the tables, and I want to thank you all for your commitment tonight. Yeah.